All right, so today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some different apps that you can have on your, at least on your iPhone. I believe Android has a lot of similar apps, but I don't have an Android on me right now. All I have is an iPhone. So the one app that I'm going to show you right away is Snapseed. It is my favorite app that when I just want to put a photo on Instagram or update it really, really quickly without opening Photoshop, I use Snapseed. I believe it's a free app. I can't honestly remember. If it's not free, it's not too much money. But I'll show you today how it works. So I already have a photo open, but to open a photo, you just press open. Sure, I don't care. And open from device. So I did make a little photography folder today. So I just selected a couple of photos. I'm going to quickly kind of show you what you can do. So I have this photo. It's the same photo, but not edited at all, from Food for Thought. So I have to edit all of these photos. Honestly, like for the most part, I will be editing these photos on Photoshop. This is a little bit more of a complex edit to get that pink out. But for the most part, if I want to put on Instagram, I can edit it really, really quickly. So under tools, you have a variety of different things that you can use. So for this photo, I might actually work with the white balance a little bit. And basically with your finger, you scroll up and down to get the different options. So up and down for options, and then left or right to change it. So that's going to make it all kind of orange. The opposite goes a little bit blue. For this one, I kind of play around with it a little bit just to kind of get a decent white balance. There's also automatic down at the bottom that starts with AW, but I find that it doesn't exactly work all that well. When you're done making a change, you press the check mark. Also at the top, if you press the top at the top right hand corner, you can see your original photo and your edited photo. I might change the blue out of that just a little bit more. There we go. And then check mark. Some other tools that you can use for food photography. So at the top left hand corner is tune image. This is where you have your brightness, your contrast, your saturation, ambience, highlights, shadows, and warmth. So these are the common ones that you will use in your photos, but you actually get to adjust them to whatever you want. So brightness is pretty self-explanatory. It's going to lighten or darken your photo. Now this photo is almost all white, so I don't want to actually lighten it too much at all. I might lighten it a little bit, but not too much because I don't want that side of the plate to disappear. Contrast, you can kind of see what it's doing to the image. We kind of tend for food photos like to have a little bit of contrast in their saturation. You'd see the colors in the vegetables kind of popping a little bit. But if you also notice the other side of the plate is turning a little bit to blue. Ambience, that's what that does. Highlights, this was one that, again, probably for this one I would not play around with so much. I might actually play with the shadows a little bit more. You can actually see the leaves there are changing color just a little bit. And warmth, again, this is where you also can play with the white balance a little bit, but I'm actually not going to play with that one at all. Just keep it at 0. All right. For food photography, so you can press check mark, it will save it. Some other things that I might work with as well. So obviously your crop is really, really easy. If you are Instagramming it, you can get an instant square, but Instagram doesn't care if it's a square anymore. The other one that sometimes I like to use for food photography is, where did it go? HDR Escape. Kind of makes things a little bit more interesting, a little bit more artistic. So this one's fine. That's a little bit stronger. Nature and people, it's really, the people one's really cool for people shots. And again, this makes the photo look a little different. So it depends again on what you are trying to do. I kind of like that, but we're not going to choose that right now. Tonal contrast. So again, you can work with your tones a little bit more. Again, you can just see just a slight change there at the little kind of rivets of the plate. But again, I'm not going to play with that too much. And if you want a lens blur, so lens blur, you can change wherever you want the blur to go. Now for this one, we already have a blur because we used a f-stop number of 1.8 for these photos. So you can kind of change and also change the strength, so you can kind of see the whole photo going kind of blurry. Again, this photo is already blurry because of the style of photo that we took, but you have an example of that as well. When you want to export it, you go to the bottom right-hand corner, press export. I would always suggest saving a copy because then you can tell what you've done before. And again, if you don't like it and you want to do something a little bit more creative, you could just save a copy and have your original document. All right, let's open up another one. No, I do not want to save. Open from device. You can see all my selfies there and some Snapchat photos. All right, so I'll show you this metal photo that I took. I had to make a little photo for it. So for this one, I tuned the image a little bit. I made it just a little bit brighter. I played with the contrast a little bit, not too much. And some highlights to see if that snow a little bit more white. Press OK. And then this is what I did for this photo. I also added the HDR-scape. And you see what it did to the snow there. It is making the snow crystals kind of appear a little bit more cooler. Now that I've seen that, I'm actually going to go back to my tune image and play around with the contrast a little bit more, just to kind of play around with the image a little bit. And you could even have some drama. That makes it look a little cooler. So there's drama 1, drama 2. There's also making it bright. The bright, when you have a white background, it's not going to look too good. Or have it dark. But the drama looks kind of cool. And I'll talk about the brush in a second. Let's see what Nora does. Just gives you some more different fonts and stuff like that if you want. Not fonts, different filters. Let's try grunge too. Just different ways of playing around with different types of filters. But that's something Vignette. That's how you say it properly. Changes the brightness of like kind of the edge. You can see how the white on the edge is either darkening or whitening, depending on what you want to do. But I'm just going to play around. I felt like I played around with this one too. Why did the contrast not change? Anyways, you can kind of play around with this. I spent a little bit more time than 2 seconds on it. And again, if you want to change it, you can change it. Let's try another photo. No, I don't want Snapseed. Actually, no, Snapseed's what I've done before. I took this photo. I wanted to put on Instagram that I was working okay, hurry up, go. Are you gonna go? Hello. Okay, maybe not. Let's try this photo. There we go, another food photo. No, we did that one already. I want a picture of a person. Let's try this one. Are you gonna open?